Conservative activist Tony Perkins spoke with a caller on his radio show about possibly banning alcohol. Let's listen.
In the issue number 4, they're trying to take the free choice away from the people of Arkansas that we have settled years ago on wet and dry. In other words, if this issue number 4 will pass, then every county in Arkansas will become wet. And I believe that the people of Arkansas are just not being educated enough on these two issues, issue number 3 and issue number 4, that really, if we're not careful, we're going to mess up.
Well, that's a good reminder, Bill. Folks need to pay attention to what's on the ballot, and I'm sure that the Family Policy Council, and I'll try to get see if I can track down their website here before we run out of time, probably has a voter guide up there in Arkansas. I know the organization well. They do a good job. They probably have a voter guide on the issues. We'll check on that, see if we can get that information out there. And for those, I'm sure most people know, the wet and dry counties where some have certain restrictions on the sale of alcohol and certain types, certain places. And a lot of things are best decided at the local level. And what is the same thing that we've seen with marriage, where the states have taken these positions, and now you've got these courts coming in undermining the states. You've got the Obama administration trying to redefine. It's all out attack on values.
No, it's not an attack on values to say that states can't ban alcohol at certain days and on certain times. Maybe it's an attack on the individual freedoms of the people who live in those places who want to buy alcohol during said time when it's banned. The way they reframe issues in their minds, it's fascinating to watch, because they really think that's an attack on values. And this is one of the key arguments against the religious right, is that when they talk about morals and values, what are they talking about? They're talking about how we should keep gay marriage banned. That to them is a moral value. They talk about how we shouldn't have birth control, we shouldn't use condoms or do sex education, we should outlaw all abortions. That to them is a moral value. They talk about how we should have dry counties and you shouldn't be able to buy alcohol on Sunday. I remember one time I went to, I think it was North Carolina, for this random family get-together at one of my great aunt's places in North Carolina. It might have been South Carolina. I really don't know which one it was, but forgive me. I don't remember. It was a while ago. But we were, me and my buddy were driving down there, and at one point, I think we were in Virginia, and it was late. We were driving. Gas station was open. So I went in, and I was going to buy a few things. In order to use my card, I needed to be above a certain dollar limit, and I wasn't there yet. So they said, you got to buy something else if you want to use the card. So I was like, okay. And I looked around, and I was like, well, I guess I'll bring a bottle of wine or two so that when we get there, we say, hey, and, have cheers, good to see everybody again, whatever. So I brought it up to the counter, and the lady's like, can't buy that, darling. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm over 21. Here's my ID if you want to see it. Can't buy that, sweetie. I'm like, why? They go, it's state law. You can't buy alcohol after whatever time at night. I don't remember what it was. I was like, really? I'm from liberal New York, where our bars are open till 4 a.m., and to me it's weird. If your bar closes at 2, I look at you like you're a Puritan. But they're talking about you can't buy alcohol at night, you can't buy alcohol in the mornings, you can't buy alcohol on Sundays in some places. I think it was in that state as well, and I think it was Virginia. And I was like, how fucking strange. And the assumption is I'm going to buy the wine and start fucking chugging it as I'm driving on the highway. Maybe I'm buying it so that I can drink it during a time when it would be acceptable to everybody for me to drink it, like at 6 o'clock at night on Friday with the family. But they're not, can't buy that, sweetie. And that wasn't her fault. I'm mocking the cashier. The cashier, God bless her, there's nothing wrong with her. She was just doing her fucking job and respecting the state law. But that's the point, is that when these guys, when these far-right Christian conservatives talk about moral values, That's what they're fucking talking about. They're talking about banning gay marriage, getting rid of sex education, no birth control, none of that stuff, and dry counties, to the point where this guy's calling up and he's mad that maybe some dry county laws are going to go away. Well, dude, if you don't want to buy alcohol in the morning, if you don't want to buy alcohol after a certain time at night, or if you don't want to buy alcohol on a Sunday, by all means, don't buy alcohol in that time frame. But why should you take it away from somebody in your state who does want to buy alcohol on those days? And it hit me during this story. When I was prepping for it earlier and I was listening to these clips, I went, oh my goodness. A lot of the far-right Christian conservatives, if they could, they would bring back prohibition. They would. They would, yeah, it's a moral value. You don't get intoxicated. I mean, that's what... And you know who pushed for it back when we did have prohibition originally? Far-right Christian conservatives. It was Christian conservatives and the KKK. They were the ones who pushed for the original alcohol prohibition. So we still have these just people with backwards beliefs who just, they can't catch up to the times. They don't understand the idea of freedom, which is hilarious because they're the first ones who pretend like they're in favor of it. They're the first ones to wave the flag and talk about how they're patriots, talk about how we love the Constitution and we love freedom. Unless, of course, it's the freedom to drink alcohol whenever you please, then I want to ban it and take it away from you.